31.5-inch 80-centimeter Dora and Gustav rail cannon. These two giant 31.5-inch 80-centimeter cannon were ordered by the Wermacht High Command in 1937 with a view to destroying the fortifications on the Maginot Line in Alsace. Gustav was named after Gustav Krupp von Bohlen und Holbach, senior partner in the Krupp company, while Dora was named after the wife of the engineer in charge of the project. Both of these cannon were completed too late for their intended purposes, so they were deployed on the Eastern Front instead. They were the largest cannon the world had ever or has ever seen. And had to be transported in several pieces, then assembled and mounted on a prepared emplacement. To assemble and disassemble each cannon, its emplacement, and all the necessary tracks took around 4,000 men. Each cannon was defended against airstrikes by an entire anti-aircraft regiment, as well as being protected against attacks by Soviet partisans by a guard regiment. Because neither cannon had any traverse, the tracks had to be laid down in a circle, and the cannon had to be aimed by shunting it round the track. To do so, Krupp developed two purpose-built V-188 diesel locomotives, as a cannon could be aimed while in motion by electric motors built into the gun carriage. As with all German rail cannons since the First World War, Paris cannon, the shell cartridges were stored in a specially acclimatized car to keep the temperature of the nitroglycerin powder explosive at around 15 Celsius. This was to optimize its combustion and to make the latter as controllable as possible. Of the two cannons, Gustav was the only one to see active service. It was deployed in the siege of Sevastopol in the Soviet Union in 1942, where it fired a total of 48 shots. The penetrative power of its huge 31.5-inch 80-centimeter shells, which weighed 7.1 kilograms each, was enough to destroy an ammunition dump protected by 300 feet or 30 meters of rock. Dora was never deployed, and at the end of the war, a third cannon was still being built. There were also plans for rocket-propelled shells that could reach targets more than 90 miles away. After the end of the war, the U.S. Army found the remains of two of the three cannon in Grafenwohr. They had been exploded so that they would not fall into enemy hands intact. The other cannon fell into Soviet hands in Auerswald, Saxony, also partially destroyed. The parts which had remained intact and some of the wreckage were analyzed by Soviet experts. It is not known what happened to the rest of the cannon. Again, Dora and Gustav were technical masterpieces, but they were basically a waste of materials, technological expertise, and manpower. Dora, the 31.5-inch 80-centimeter rail cannon. Statistical data. Caliber, 31.5 inch. Combat weight, 2,973,550 pounds. Barrel length, L41. Elevation, -10 to plus 65. Traverse, 0. Ammunition type and weight. HE 10,575 pounds. CP 15,640 pounds. Muzzle velocity HE 2,735 feet per second. CP 2,365 feet per second. Maximum range HE 156,650 feet. CP 126,650 feet. Maximum penetration parentheses concrete on parentheses colon 395 inches. And that has been a Dora siege gun production.